Okay, so Sundays are usually my time, to myself, my family, all that other stuff. But a conversation was brought up, and it was a fun conversation, and it had me thinking. And in the middle of the conversation, I realized I was wrong in my answer. So the question was, for criminals, what's the most dangerous place for them to be in? By the way, for context, we're talking about criminals, not those galactic ones, not Dark Side, not Thanos, nothing like those outer space ones, or yeah, those kind of people. We're talking about just regular street criminals, Joker, people that's trying to rob the banks, stuff like that. Who has it worse? Which criminals have it worse? The DC universe or the Marvel universe? My first answer, because if y'all know me, I'm a huge Batman fan. So, of course, my first answer came up saying DC. I said it without even thinking. I was like, DC, the criminals have to deal with Batman, and that's a headache. I mean, Superman, these street criminals got nothing. Unless they have some kryptonite, and even then, they probably still won't beat them. Wonder Woman, Flash, they're not going to be able to move and all this. I'm making all these, saying all these reasons. Then I stopped talking for 2 seconds, and I went like this. Yeah, Flash, Wonder Woman. And I did that because then it started to hit me once I slowed down. I'm like, wait a minute. Marvel. And I just had all these flashes in my head of different heroes Marvel have in one city. So now I could be wrong. Correct me if I missed some people, but I realized I was 100% wrong because then I went back on the question. Street villains and the superheroes in their universes. And I started to think New York. That hit my mind immediately. Because if you know superheroes, if you read the comics like I do, when it comes to Marvel, a lot of the heroes, like the popular ones, are stationed in New York. And I'm like, hold on a second. And somebody said it too when we was having this conversation. You said Batman. You said Superman. That's one hero. And right then I'm like, okay, I think I'm wrong here because New York hit my mind. And if you know Marvel, New York has a lot of superheroes. Even though the TV shows don't really show it a lot, a lot of them that are the famous ones are stationed in New York. And right then I knew I was wrong. Marvel is probably the safest place on earth to deal with street criminals. And New York alone proves it. Now there's other heroes in different other stations in the world in Marvel that still beats DC, but New York is the root of it all. If you watch the famous TV shows like the Daredevil, you watch Spider-Man, the Avengers, so on and so forth, it's mostly stationed in New York. And when you think about it, it's like, oh my goodness, you would have to be a straight dummy. It's already stupid enough to be a criminal, robbing, all that other stuff in real life. But I'm talking about these superhero worlds where you know that there's a Spider-Man, a Daredevil, and the worst case scenario, a Punisher out there. You'd be stupid to commit a crime. Marvel covers the whole world. You know how their stations are with the Avengers and all that stuff. But let's just stick to one city. And I'll put a comparison. My favorite superhero is Batman. He watches Gotham City. As much as I love Batman, you have a better chance as a villain to deal with him than you do going to New York, in any part of New York. Because the one thing about New York, it is not even on purpose. It just happens that way. New York has 24-hour security. And I could be missing some heroes. You have to deal with Spider-Man, who's in New York. We know his powers. I'm not going to go down every power of these superheroes. You got to deal with Daredevil, the lawyer and the hero. If he finds you as a lawyer, he's going to remember you. And then when it's time to put on the suit, he's going to find you. You have Luke Cage, Luke Cage likes to be unbothered. He's a man of the people. He helps, the old lady across the street, helps the person in the small stores. He likes to keep to himself. You got to deal with him. Let's not forget, he's bulletproof and has super strength. What's the common criminal going to do to him? You have Hawkeye, who lives in this. I forgot about that. Hawkeye lives, because he wasn't on my list. Then it hit me that Hawkeye is in New York. You have him. You have the worst case scenario. This is the villain. The hero you do not want to find you is the Punisher. That's the one you don't want, because the Punisher is going to kill you. These other ones I'm gonna name gonna give you some mercy. Some are gonna bruise and beat you, like it's gonna really hurt. Some are gonna give you a little slap on the head, But Punisher, and he's the one with no powers, is the one that you don't want to find you. Doctor Strange has his little place in New York. The Avengers Tower is in New York. And all this other stuff. And I'm sitting there like, okay, there's more in New York that I'm not mentioning. But here's the icing on the cake when it comes to New York City. Let's just say you somehow slip past all of them. You could be robbed. You could be just hanging at a park trying to do something stupid, or hanging at a mall trying to steal something. And you meet these people with regular clothes on, just shopping around, having a fun time. And you bump into one of them thinking they're regular people. And no, you realize that they are one out of the 50 X-Men. X-Men's in Westchester, New York. And we know X-Men's not really famous for the street criminals. But as you notice, if you read the comics, Vice cartoons, they just go out hanging for the day. The ladies are Jean Grey, Storm going out shopping, Wolverine going doing something, chilling on his own, Iceman and them doing what they doing, and you just accidentally bump into them. New York in general for criminals is the worst place to ever live in. And Marvel has other heroes that's multiples in other spots too, but nothing beats New York. The city, the state, whatever. You are bumping into every kind of villain. And so I was like, dang. And the funny thing is, imagine being one of these dumb criminals stealing a purse or something. You look up and the Avengers Tower is just sitting right there. And it doesn't matter what type of day. You go to daytime, Spider-Man's right there. You go at nighttime, that would be you are straight ludicrous to do it at night. Till you have to meet Daredevil and the Punisher. And like I said, I probably missed some other heroes. But, bro, yeah. After thinking about it, we was talking about it, I was wrong on that one. I've never thought about it. That's the thing. I've never thought about this kind of situation of what's the most safest place for a criminal to be in. What universe is the safest place for a criminal to be in? Yes, as much as I love Batman, and he will beat you down. Like, if you like the Arkham Batman and stuff, that is one person. You could do, think of the Dark Knight, for example, the movie. Batman's handling one thing, and that's why Joker can do whatever he's doing over there. Even as great as Superman is, he could be doing something with a criminal, and other criminals on the other side of Metropolis can still do their thing. For the most part, the Flash has it best, because he can use his speed, and it stops the time, and he's just moving fast. And that's probably the best case scenario. But then he got his own life. He's living his own life. You can sneak and do your own thing. When you're in New York City, or just New York in general with Marvel, every corner you're probably bumping into a hero. X-Men got 50 of them in the school alone. You think they're sitting around the house all day? No, they're going around either New York City or whatever, exploring. And you bump into them. You bump into Peter Parker. You bump into Matt Murdock. You bump into Luke Cage, who ain't wearing a suit, just wearing a hoodie, just chilling. And then the funniest part about it all is, outside of all that, you're still dealing with regular street cops and SWAT. You are literally on lockdown in New York. That is probably the most safest place for any, and I'm talking about outside of those powerful outer space villains. New York is probably the most safest place for regular civilians to be in when it comes to superheroes in Marvel. So as much as I love DC, yes, you could say with Batman, he has the Bat family. It's 6 of them? Robin, Nightwing, Red Hood, Batgirl, Batwoman, Batwing. I'm missing someone. Regardless, there's and Nightwing is usually in Bloodhaven, but let's be real, he misses Batman. He likes to come visit Gotham. But all in all, if you think about it, it ain't, outside the Bat family, who in DC, and maybe I'm missing it, but who in DC that we know that's not them back burner heroes that we barely hear? You see them in little cameos and stuff. What hero has a nice amount in one spot? Metropolis, Flash's City, Gotham, all this other stuff. It ain't, I don't think there is one like it is in Marvel. And like I said, there's other states and cities and countries that have a nice amount of heroes in one place too. If I remember correctly, doesn't Blade and Fantastic Four both in California? I could be wrong, but basically Marvel has it to where if I'm a civilian, I'm like, okay, uh, you know, if I want more safety, I'd rather be around. I'd rather go to New York. Now I know like movies and comic books make it seem like New York has always got something going on, but it's always because they put one or two heroes in one situation. But let's be real. If they actually kept it realistic of how New York is, Kingpin would not be as successful as he is and all these other ones. Are you kidding me? With Professor Xavier just hanging around New York? It's like they do that for the story. But if we was keeping it real, the Daredevil show, all that stuff that's happened, if we wanted to keep it real, Spider-Man should have been there somewhere. Luke Cage should have been there somewhere. Hawkeye should have been there somewhere. The Avengers Tower should have been somewhere in sight. The Doctor Strange's place should have been, you know what I'm saying? So they do it for the story for Daredevil. But let's be real. All that stuff that was happening with Daredevil and Punisher, Spider-Man would have showed up. Logan would have showed up. Like somebody, Professor Xavier would have been like, something's happening in Hell's Kitchen. Hey, can you send Gambit, Logan, and Storm over there real quick? Nightcrawler real quick? You know. And granted, I don't think Manchester, Westchester, New York, wherever the X-Men. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think they're exactly in New York City, but they're still in the New York areas, the state. So yeah, I was wrong in that one. I was saying DC out of fandom for Batman, and yes, it's a nightmare to deal with the Bat. It's a nightmare to deal with Superman. You're not doing anything to them, but a lot of these criminals ain't doing nothing to these heroes. But if you think about, okay, well, let's plan. If you're a criminal, let's plan. Let's go with this time of day because this hero's over there and we can get away with it. You're not doing that in New York. You're not doing that. Yes, you missed out. You fooled Spider-Man. Now you got 10 other ones over here in different parts that you have no idea where they're at. Have fun. So I don't know. Let me know in the comment section. This was just a fun conversation that I had and I wanted to share it. If I'm missing some points, please let me know. But I think Marvel has it safer for civilians when it comes to just street criminals than DC has. Because I love Batman, but that brother has chaos left and right. And mostly it's because he's by himself. Until he starts having a Bat family. And even then it's a struggle. Because Gotham is a mess. But I will tell you this. If Marvel's heroes in New York alone was in Gotham would not be as dangerous as it is. The Avengers Tower, the X-Men, the Luke Cage and them. And I love Batman, but it's different. Metropolis got Superman. That sounds like enough, but stuff always be happening in Metropolis. Why? Because while Superman's over there and talking to the civilians and all that stuff, another criminal's doing his own thing. So it's just interesting. You're cool and you're safe for the most part with both universes, but villains can get away with a whole lot more in the DC universe than the Marvel universe. And maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comment section. This was all fun. I just wanted to share it. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'll talk to y'all later.